amigos, how are we all? Are we alright? Jolly good. Now, this is the fourth in the Gary and Roy drop and swap videos. We're doing well so far. We've got through 3 batches. This is the 4th one. This one is a pear cider. I do know it's just under 6%. But that's all I know. I don't know really what's gone in it. I suspect it's apple and pear juice from you know, a local supermarket, as you would do any sort of pear cider really, unless you use real pears, which I don't think Gary's done in this case, but I don't know. I don't know, folks, I'm guessing. So what we're going to do is the usual thing. We're going to pour it into our decanter. So let's open it up. Oh, initial fizz there. Could smell the apples. Smell the pears too a little bit. We'll see. We'll see how it goes, shall we? Looking forward to this one actually, because whenever I've done a pear cider, folks, they haven't always come out very nice. The taste can be a bit too acidity. That'll do for now. Good head on that, Gary. Well done. Not quite as flat as the apple and raspberry one, which was flat, of course. And the last one we did, which you primed with honey, which I was really surprised with, and it looked like it was flat, but it wasn't. That was pretty good. It's going to have to take something to beat that so far, I think, and I don't know whether this is going to be the one or not yet. So let's see. Let's go with a little bit of a aroma. Oh yeah, pear drops. Sweet. There's quite a crisp. I'll tell you what's impressive is whenever I've smelt my pear ciders, I can still smell the alcohol, but I can't with this. It smells really sweet, and I don't know if you've back sweetened it with something or something else, or you've just the way you've done it. But let's give it a pour. What a good way to start a Sunday afternoon, folks, by having a lovely cider on the go, or a perry in this case, or it might be a bit of both, who knows, doesn't matter. Good head retention on that, isn't there? It's just the way I poured it, don't worry about that, folks. You know, I'm an impatient sod. Right, colour. Carbonation is really good. Again, top marks for that, Gaz. I know you're good when it comes to carbonation, because you tend to batch prime, don't you? And I think that's probably a good way to do it, really. But I've found that since I stopped using the Cooper's drops, and I just use a teaspoon of sugar per 500ml bottle, I get better results. So I'm not using Cooper's anymore. Plus they're too expensive. Why do that when you've got some sugar lying around? And you can use caster sugar, you can use muscovado sugar, you can use whatever sugar you want. Or as Gary said for his previous video, for my previous video, his previous drink, he uses a tablespoon of honey per 750ml bottle, and that works out really nice. Very strong. For one of these, a tablespoon of honey, and you'll get that bizarre sort of no fizz, but as soon as it hits your tongue, it carbonates. It's like your tongue activates to carbonate. It's just bizarre. So try it, folks. Anyway, we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about this one. The head isn't going anywhere, but it's not. It's my fault. It's the way I poured it. It's nothing, you know. It's not the brew or anything. It's just the way I poured it. Again, in the glass, it smells very peary, and I really like the smell on this one, Gary. I know you said to me this one might not be as nice as the other ones. I think this is probably quite a young one as well, I think you said. So all we can do is just base it on what we've got here and not on the other drinks. So let's have a taste. Gary, mate, you've got really good cider here. I know that you said, you're not that sure about it, but it's certainly better than some of the pear ciders I've done. I mean, it's a little bit thin, granted. The carbonation is good. You know, it's not like the previous one. It's proper carbonated. There is a slight peary aftertaste, which isn't unpleasant at all. I'll have another sip. Oh, the pear is really prevalent in there. Now, on some of the apple and pear juices that you get when you do your turbo ciders, you can get that sort of sharpness and not really pear flavour, but I don't know what you've used here. I don't know what supermarket juice you've used, so if you can let me know, that'd be good. But you've done something to it that has come out really nice. Is it because it's an old one? I can't remember what you said to me. I can't remember whether this is a young one or an old one. You might not have even told me, mate, so you might have to refresh my memory. However, I can only go on what's in the glass, can't I? And let's just say I don't know how old it is. So let's assume I don't know whether it's an old one or whether it's a young one. But I do remember you saying it's just under 6%. So let's assume I don't know whether it's an old one or a young one. What do I think? I think from taste, because I can't smell any yeast in there, because I don't get that alcohol hit, boom, that you get in a young brew. I just get the sweetness of pears. It suggests to me, that on its own suggests that it's quite an old one, because it's had time to mature. But that might not be the case. And if it isn't the case, then you've done well with this one. I'm going to drink all of this right now because I really like it. See, the thing is, Gary, is that, you know, your tastes are slightly different to mine, mate, as is everybody's. And oh, it's going to go over, it's going to go over, it's going to go over, it's going to explode. Ah! Doesn't matter. Yeah, so what, you know, you say you won't like this one, or I don't like this one. You know, you give it to somebody else to try, and they love it. I remember we had a barbecue last year, and Gary popped round and a few old friends from where I used to work, and I did a strawberry cider. It was about 9%. It was a bit mental, but it was from real strawberries, and lots of people felt that it tasted too strong. But this one guy had tasted it and he loved it. Paul York, hello Paul. And he took them home with him and he drank them all. The bugger. I've since revisited that recipe, so we'll see if Gary likes the strawberry turbo cider that's in his crate. But yeah, we're not here to talk about it, we're going to talk about this. And I really like it, Gary. I'm going to give this an 8. I'm going to say that this is equal to the Red Bush. What could we do to improve it? I think if we put some flavouring in there, other than the pear of course, like a hint of strawberry maybe, just a hint, or a hint of raspberry, that will make it a bit better. Well, what do I mean by better? I don't really know. I think what I mean is that if you put a little bit of flavouring in there, other than, you know, like just the apple or the pear, it tends to infuse it a little bit, and it helps to bring out more of the flavours in the apple juice and the pear juice. At least that's what I've found with some of my brews. Not all of them, just some of them, folks. But that's the only improvement I can think really to make on this one, because it's really not bad, Gary. I mean, I quite like it. It's a little bit cloudy, but I don't really give a shit about the cloudiness. As you know, it's never really bothered me. I mean, it's nice to have a clear brew, but all you've got to do is sodding drink it and chuck it down your throat. Who cares? The carbonation's really good. The heat retention's really good. The taste is really good. Really sweet. I'm quite surprised by that. I don't know how you've got the sweetness in there, so you'll have to tell me. You'll have to share it with me so I can share it with the wider community, or just post down here. Yeah, the smell of apples is there, I think. So I kind of smell the apples, but I think the pear takes over the apples. So if it's just pear juice, then fair enough. But if it's a pear and apple, then I can't really taste the apples very much, if you know what I mean. I'll be very surprised if it's just pear, because it's quite difficult to get just pear juice, isn't it? And I'm sure you do like I do. You just go to a supermarket and grab whatever's on the cheap and have a go. The pear juice on its own tends to be quite expensive, doesn't it? Or pear extract or whatever. But yeah, Gary, that's a good one, mate. Well done. I'm impressed with that. As I say, I'm going to quite happily drink this, all of it, and not chuck it down the sink, which is always a good sign. Well done, yeah. It's an 8. Mouthfeel, definitely. It's good. A little bit thin. I would have liked it a little bit thicker. But having said that, the flavour's there, mate. You can't, because some thin brews, there's no flavour, is there? It goes down. Now, I know that I've given you one cider in that crate, and I'm going to see if you can spot it, that I think is as thin as something quite thin indeed. This is a little bit thin, but it's not like the one I've given you. It's a little bit thicker, but not quite as thick as I would like it. You know what I mean, folks. You know what I mean. Gary, if you don't know what I mean by now, mate, after 20 or years, then you never will. But yeah, well done, mate. That's a good one. 8 out of 10. Cheers, matey. On to the next one after this, once I've enjoyed drinking this. I am going to go into the living room now, sit in front of the computer, upload this video, and drink this while I do it. And enjoy it, because I do like it. 8 out of 10, yeah. Same as the Red Bush. Not a bad one at all, mate. 8 out of 10. So far, these two are my favourites. So well done, and we'll see you in the next one. Cheers, guys.